Today it's part 2 of our series Dateless to Dazzling, and we're tackling the subject of flirting. Yesterday you met the men and women participating in the Dating Coach program. We have Louise, Mark, Tammy, Christopher, and Jana. There they are, all right there. And today we're going to follow the women as they learn the secrets to the male psychology.
How's that vegetarian pizza working out for you? Huh? You and those vegetables have a real thing going on, huh?
Flirting. It's all part of the dating game. But according to dating coach Elisa Goodwin-Snell, it's the one thing that keeps so many women out of the game.
What's the name of the game?
I don't think you flirt. I don't think you make eye contact. I don't think you send out a message that says I'm approachable. But if you're interested in someone, that's where you can't seem to flirt. But you're scared of flirting. I am still scared of flirting.
And so for Louise, Tammy, and Jana, a little flirting intervention is in order.
It's all about just being feminine. It's about being feminine. It's about just having a little bit of fun with it. So first off, you're at a dance across the way, simply leaning forward, cocking of the foot a little bit. You glance over, you see someone, you look away. It never hurts to, if you do make eye contact, and it naturally happens that you kind of bite your lip. Flirting is at its finest, just subtle movements, and just femininity, and just warmth. This is anxious energy, this is flirting.
And so with a twist of the hair and a subtle cock of the head, the ladies are ready to practice.
Imagine a cute guy over there that you're talking with your friend. Imagine you're talking to your friend, but every once in a while you just kind of glance over to see if he's looking, and then you kind of look away. What's a confident pose for you? That's feminine. See, that was very feminine.
Armed with their newfound skills, they turn their attention to our cameraman. And there's no doubt about it, these ladies are back in the game. Oh, I love that. You guys are darling, first and foremost. Okay, formal introductions here. We've got Utah's dating coach, Elisa Goodwin-Snell, and the ladies who agreed to participate in this dating program. We've got Louise, Tammy, and Jana, and really, you are so cute. And I think just watching that, you got the hang of it. Does it feel good?
Yeah, it's getting better.
You can work it in front of a TV camera. I think you can work it in front of anyone. That's what I have to say.
Well, and we had to exaggerate it a little bit more just for the fun of, kind of getting into it on camera, but hopefully we'll be a little more subtle. As I looked at myself, I thought, oh, it could be a little more subtle, and it works fine.
The point across.
You get the point across.
Well, let's put the discussion on the table, because you say this is a mistake women make. They don't know how to flirt. They don't put it out there. And so if it's a mistake all women make, why do you ladies think it's so hard? Why don't we flirt?
Well, I think one of the reasons is that I'm a shy person, especially with guys that I like. I mean, I'm okay with any other people, but when it comes to guys that I like, it's like tunnel vision, just, oh, I can't talk to him. I can't look him in the eyes.
So normal people, you're okay, though? You feel...
Yeah, I think normal people, I'm really, really good about it.
Okay, Jenna, what about you?
I think for me, it's really hard. I don't like to make other people feel awkward, and I don't really know how to do it well, and so I'm always afraid that I'm going to make somebody feel awkward, and so I just kind of try to ignore it and think if they really like me, they'll come talk to me. I don't have to, put myself out there. So it's kind of a fear thing as well.
I'd be afraid of just looking awkward, period. Yeah. Never mind, making the other people feel awkward. I'd be afraid of looking awkward. And what do you think, Louise?
My fear is rejection.
Yeah.
Perhaps flirting and then not getting any response. But that's been the great thing about the program, because response isn't necessarily the goal. Technique is the goal initially. And then as you get better with your technique, then your responses become better.
So you're perfecting the technique, not perfecting yourself? Is that what we're after?
And you're practicing it, and you fake it till you make it. So you just keep practicing it, and when you start to see responses, then you pause and you go, okay, what did I do, and how did I feel? And if it felt confident, and if it came together, then you just remember that, and you keep doing that more.
And how do you not feel silly doing it? I mean, because you're really looking at yourself and saying, I'm flirting. Am I doing a good job? But you do have to kind of self-assess a little bit.
Well, I think you still try to be yourself, but my goal is try to be natural and make it a natural habit. you know, but then you just kind of like, hey, I'm being myself, I'm smiling and making eye contact with everybody.
To have specific things that, okay, I'm going to go to this activity and I'm going to do this and this and this before I can leave.
Like a goal?
Yeah, and it helps to kind of have that, because then you're focusing more on, okay, did I do this, did I do that, can I leave yet, instead of what is everybody thinking of me?
You're like, I haven't winked at 5 guys yet, I can't walk out the door. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and the women are doing it right now. They're smiling, they're talking with their hands, they're leaning forward. All of that is flirting. And whereas before they might have been more cautious and reserved, their tone might have been less. So elevating their tone, leaning forward, touching people on the arms, smiling at them, that's all flirting. It doesn't have to be really exaggerated. All of that works great.
It can be natural.
It can be natural.
Okay, well, you have a great quote in your book, Elisa. You say something interesting. Women decide their fate a lot more than men do. Thus, if you are not dating, it is likely that you do not know how to flirt or are choosing not to flirt. Is that a conscious decision to choose not to flirt?
I think that women want something to happen without realizing that they have a part in making it happen. And so they hope, they wish, they pray, but they don't realize they're not playing their part, they're not playing their role. They might be afraid of flirting. They might feel like flirting is somehow cheap, or it's inappropriate, or it's had a bad reputation in the past. So it's simply realizing that flirting is saying I'm approachable. So if it's easier to say I'm going to look approachable, then do that. You know what I mean?
Is this only, I think, because do you women feel like you need guys to flirt with you? Do guys need it more than women need it?
Yes.
They do.
Men are visual, and so in order for them to have the clue that you are interested, they need some visual awareness, something that says I'm interested in you. A touch on the arm helps, but they've got to have that smile. They've got to have you look them in the eyes, and if you aren't doing that, that is the reason why you're not dating.
Any response is helpful, though.
I was going to say, you hit on that response. It would be hard to kind of put yourself out there and not feel a little something back.
Right, yeah. One of my best experiences recently was I looked at a very attractive man in the eyes and smiled, and he giggled. I took him off guard, I guess, and he giggled, and it was so wonderful. It was a great experience. Very encouraging. I will be smiling at more.
You got a guy to giggle.
Men.
Yeah,
and this is a big learning curve for me. Is, you know, men do want to feel comfortable, and I think that's one of the ways that we can show as females. You know, smiling, eye contact makes them feel more comfortable.
Men are afraid of rejection too. And if they're not getting eye contact and a smile, they are not going to walk across that room to meet you. But you don't need to walk across the room to meet them. You can smile at them from across the way, give them a nice grin, look away, and that's enough reason for them to make that trip. But they're afraid of rejection too, and that's a good point there. And you guys had some great experiences.
And I love Alicia's classy flirting style. Because, you know, for a while I thought maybe flirting was a bad thing, you know, so I kind of kept it off. And it's like 3 or 4 years ago, I admitted to myself, you know what, I really need to go to a flirting 101 class.
Flirting 101, I like that. So you can be a classy flirter, not a cheap flirter. Okay, these girls have got some practice. Lisa's coached them. We watched you guys learn how to do it. Jana, Tammy, and Louise, you all learned how to do it. So let's break down some tips for people watching at home, and we're going to get a little practice going on here. First thing we've talked about, look men in the eyes and smile, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's the core. If you're not doing that, you're not going to succeed.
And if you do it, guys can giggle at you, right? Right, Louise? That's a good thing. All right, next you say take time to look good.
You don't flirt when he looks good. You flirt when you look good.
That's a great point, because I think you talked about making guys feel comfortable. You almost have to feel comfortable with yourself in order to do that, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a great point. Also, you say start looking for single men. How do you look for that? It's not stamped single across their forehead. So how do we look for single men?
Well, you know, I have an example where, like a few weeks ago, I just went to a doctor's appointment and went out to the parking lot, and I saw this guy walk into the car, and his car happened to be right in front of my car, and I just told myself, okay, I'm going to look up and smile at him, and then so we were doing this eye contact, smiling back and forth.
In the parking lot?
Yes, I know. It was really weird. It never happened to me before, and then I laughed, and you know, I guess he happened to, you know, leave the same direction, and we were on State Street, and he was going south, and I was going north, and he rolled down the window and said, hi. I know, oh my gosh.
You're like, it worked. In the parking lot, of all places.
Singles are everywhere.
Grocery store and
42% of Utahns are single, adults are single. So they're at the grocery store, they're at the park, they're at the soccer game. So if you get in the habit of just making someone's day by trying to make someone smile, the married guys are not going to do anything with it. And you gave them an innocent smile, and that's all. And the guys who are interested are going to play their part. They're going to giggle back. They're going to do something. They're going to approach. They're going to ask you a question.
Well, I love that because you mentioned you were somewhat shy innately, right? And I think people think that to be single, you've got to inject yourself into the single scene, but like you say, they're everywhere. One more quick tip, you say to accentuate your femininity.
Men are attracted to femininity, and that means a lot to them. And we're all feminine. So just tilt your head a little bit, talk with your hands, use a soft tone, touch somebody, show warmth. That's what men are attracted to. You don't have to be a model. All you have to do is be feminine.
Okay, so one quick flirting technique for all of us right here that we're going to practice at the table. What would you say?
Well, anything that's just accentuating the positive. So if you lift up your shoulders, you talk with your hands, you do a little soft, something. Someone says something sweet.
I just put my hands down because I was nervous.
I'm not going to flirt. You do anything that's slow and purposeful.
Okay.
But leaning forward a little bit does that.
And tapping your foot. I'm looking at your foot. We're tapping
That's
here.
a good one I've learned. I never thought of that
subtle
before.
flirts happening at this very table. Ladies, thank you so much. That was so fun to learn from your experience. You're brave to let us in your life, so thank you so much. Elisa, thank you. You'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Of course, tomorrow we wrap up our series with the most common dating mistakes. And it's going to be fun because we're going to be hearing from the guys. They'll be in the hot seat tomorrow. We also want to remind you that Elisa is having an all-day workshop coming up on October 18th to the downtown Salt Lake City Library. We'll have all of the details on our website, studio5.ksl.com.